What's going on, people? It's Mr. back again with a Forest show. I hope everyone's fit and well. And yes, before I do a podcast, talk about what's been happening for the last 7 days regarding Nottingham Forest. So yes, I thought we'd get myself, the panel, and yourself to talk about what has been happening. If you are new to our channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you know, and comment below if there's any topics that you want to talk to me and the panel about. Well, let's talk. First of all, let's get the panel in. First of all, who should start with? We'll start with Steve. How are you, Steve?
Right, Ben. Right, lads. How was the little winter break doing, everyone?
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Bit of a lull, isn't it?
Yeah, but next door, we've got I think he's a good-looking lad. He's the same age as me. Man himself, Dylan. How you doing, Dylan?
I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. I'm here to help you out tonight.
Help me out.
Yeah, sure. Last time I came on, I boosted your viewings.
People in the chat, is that all lies? Is that all lies? People in the chat, what if you might
told me that?
And last but not least, we've got the baby on the channel, the youngster. And in the chat, people, see how red his face is? It's so red.
It's so warm in my house. I've had to open the window. It's roast. I don't know why people want the heating on all the time. Like, I'm just thinking.
No, you look better. You look tanned and all that. So people in the chat. If Jay looks better with his new haircut and red
You're
face.
on a sunbed, you have?
Huh?
You're on a sunbed.
You've been on a sunbed.
I got a sunburn here.
Do you think Jay's been on a sunbed? Put your thumbs up if he's been on a sunbed.
It's warm, so warm. Well, hello anyway. Hello, hi. Before I got roasted before you even started, look.
But like I said, people, we're going to talk about what's happened in the last 7 days as well. But before we do let's start, let's go for chat as well. Hi, David, Ben and Jay, the dream team. Unless it's Dave and Dave, have a good one. Colin, hi, how you doing, Colin? If you want to be a member, people, please do. Rachel, hello. Why is Forest not signing anyone yet? Still waiting for a new player to sign for Nottingham Forest from Rachel. I don't know, Rachel. Hopefully, we'll get someone in. Paul, hello. Hope you're well. Hope we lose points. Hope if we lose points, we'll just get on with it and stick together. You red, 100%. Craig, evening Reds. Jolly, evening Reds. Steven, hi Ben, Jay, Steven, Davey, legend on this one. Peter, hi, Door, Jay, Steve, Dylan. Mohammed, legend on this one. Hi, Door, Nuno has turned it around so much, and hopefully we can get through the FA Cup fourth round. Can't wait for Wednesday night. It'll be a blast. Come on, you Reds. Shout out to Mohammed, legend. Eve, good evening, Mr. Door, Jay, Stephen, Dylan. Hope you are well. I just drawn a new Forest-related picture. I started one for Dave Flips. If you do, Eves, send it me, and I'll send it to David. Personally, so if you can do a good one as well. Rocky Dylan, the legend. What do you mean the legend? Where are you getting this from? What about the rest of us?
Legends only come out once in a blue moon.
Come on, that is shocking.
Hey Ben, there'll be a super chat to Dylan. No, I'm telling you.
People in the chat. This is shocking. Chris, legend. Greetings from New Jersey. Boys, you clean up nicely, Mr. I do. See, I look nicely as well, but I think Jay looks great. He looks great.
Oh, hey,
I'm going to leave Jay alone.
Being nice now.
I'm being nice.
He's off our age. That's why.
Door is a legend. I prefer legend. Call me a legend. Patrick, good evening, lads. How you doing, Patrick? Dylan on the beer and Jay on the sub bed. What?
Yeah.
That's true.
Sorry, I'm looking for the chats. Evening, how you doing, Scott? I hope you're well. Forest, Sally, Sean Lockstaff, Matt Ritchie, and Paul. Dumb it? No, never. Come on, Matt Ritchie. He's about 40, isn't it? And last but not least, please hit the like button as well, people. It helps me a lot. And first of all, we're going to talk about everyone's been talking about. And as you know, Jay on his channel spoke about FFP to Kieran Maguire. And if you have seen it, people, please do. The link is in the description, so have a check on that. But people in the chat, what do you think about FFP? Are you nervous about it? Are you not? Are you not? Jay, talk to me about your conversation with Mr. Kieran Maguire about FFP. What was the conversation about?
It was just kind of trying to get people to understand what Forest can actually lose, because I think there's a massive amount of confusion over what FFP actually is. People think that tomorrow is basically just a case of, oh, Forest are getting a points deduction. It's going to happen tomorrow, and that's it. When in reality, it's not. It goes to a commission first. There's a lot of different processes that this takes. It's just tomorrow they'll conclude, after looking at accounts that were submitted on the 31st of December, whether anyone's breached the rules. Kieran Maguire said that he reckons Forest are close, but he doesn't know whether they breached it. But then there's also other factors to take into account that we aren't really accustomed to seeing for the most part. So I would just say that it's not worth adding to speculation. Anyone who says they know something, I would say they don't. I don't know any more than you do. And it's just a case of waiting now. As impatient as we are, and we have a good reason to be, because this is a massive thing and everyone's scared of FFP. No club wants to be, having FFP knocking at the door saying they're going to take points off you. But, I just think that people just need to just relax a little bit and just let the process take its course, because this is out of our hands. We can do nothing. And yeah, there's nothing set in stone to say there's any points deduction that's going to happen. But if it does, it does, and you just move forward. That's just football.
So we did say that we are on edge, but what do you think, Jay? Do you think we'll beat it? Because I've seen about what about the Johnson one?
Yeah, so Johnson's sale was in September. So the accounts that the final account that the Premier League will need is the 22 to 23 season. So the FFP period is over 3 years. So 20 to 21 when we were in the Championship, 21 to 22 when we were in the Championship, and 22 to 23 when we're in the Premier League. So the Premier League, you can lose up to £30 million a year. That's the maximum. And then it's I think it's another
13.
Yeah, it's 13 million in the Championship.
Works out to be 61 million.
Yeah, so you can a total loss of 61 million over the 3 years, because 2 in the Championship, 1 in the Premier League. So based on that, the Johnson sale, if it was included in the accounts, would mean that any kind of worry of us breaching FFP wouldn't exist. But the problem is we sold Johnson in September, and they're talking about accounts that were already done in June. So what Forest are going to try and argue is that they had to wait longer than June, when the accounts were submitted, to sell Johnson in order to get a better fee to help with FFP, because they were cooperating with the Premier League, saying Brentford are offering us £30 million, but we think that there's going to be a bigger offer, and we've got good reason to believe there'll be a bigger offer worth 45, 50 million pounds, which in the end did happen. So Forest did cooperate. They spoke to the Premier League. The only question is whether that's going to hold up, and they will be able to successfully backdate Brennan Johnson's sale and put it into those June accounts. Because if they can, and they've got Nick DeMarco, the KC lawyer, to come and try and do that, if they can do it, then we won't have to worry about FFP at all. But that's going to be a real difficult ask, in my opinion. But it's going to be tight either way.
So what's your thoughts on the whole thing? Like, are you worried as a fan?
I don't care. No, I do care in a way, but I'm still going to support them at the end of the day. But just like what Jay says, I've been looking into it. I listened to his interview with Kieran and that, and understood a bit more of it. But I can't see how they can argue this Johnson deal, because if you're going to, surely if they could to the Premier League and go, well, we've been offered 30 million, we're going to get a bit more for him. Do you know what I mean? Nothing was to say he was going to break his leg or something, and the deal was off. Surely if he was going to get 30 million, wouldn't that 30 million have still put us above FFP? Do you know what I mean? So have we hinged it on 18 million? But at the end of the day, you've got to look at it different ways. You've got to look at Marinakis. Does he look at the businesses he runs and people he employs, and are we this close? And it's just so hard to navigate. But I love how this all come out. Forest could be close. Do you know what I mean? No one's actually said they are or they're over, but it's died a death. Do you know what I mean? No one else has mentioned it. Everyone's just waiting for tomorrow. I thought it was today, but it's tomorrow. And what's got me is normally someone out there knows something. So surely maybe later tonight we'll get a tweet or somewhere from a journalist or from somewhere saying they're being charged. Do you know what I mean? And then this thing going around on Twitter saying we're getting 6 points, blah, blah, blah. No one knows. Do you know what I mean? Because if Forest know today or tomorrow, they're being told if they're under investigation and they're being charged, then obviously the due diligence has got to be done. And I don't think it's till April we find out what the result's going to be. So if, whatever, right, there's your points deduction. But at the end of the day, we just got to keep doing what we're doing, winning matches. But I do believe the incoming of players at the minute may hinge on this charge. Because if they come back and say, no, you've got nothing to answer for, you're just in it, does that, right, Forest can go, right, these are the calibre of players we need to push on. Do you know what I mean? But then if you're going to get charged, are you going to get away with it, which you're probably not going to? You're going to get points. What's going to happen? Are they going to look at transfers in different ways to say, well, we need the players to come in now to help us out to try and pick up more points? But if the inevitable happened and we lost the points and it caused a relegation, are these the players that can get us up? Because surely we've got the manager in Nuno because of his record. So there's a lot of, like Jay said, there's no point speculating. There's no point. We've just got to win. But there's a lot of ways. Do you know what I mean? We've heard Wolves could be in it. Everyone's kicking out of saying, why is Chelsea not in it? Why is Man City not in it? All right, these higher teams have got bigger revenues coming in, bigger sponsorship deals and all that. That can help them out. No one knows. Do you know what I mean? So I just think just wait and see what happens.
What's your thoughts, Steve, on it? Like I said, are you nervous about it, or just, like I said, like Glenn said, just want to carry on and it is what it is?
I haven't really thought about it, to be honest with you, Ben. I'm not big into financial and business and stuff like that. I haven't got the head for it, so I haven't really overthought about it. If it happens, it happens. But
Jay will help you out.
Yeah. I'll have to pick his brain, but for me, I think the whole system is corrupt anyway. Because like Dylan just touched on, Chelsea, yes, I know they have bigger revenue, bigger fan base, or whatever you want to say, and so on. But how are they allowed to carry on spelling up to $1 billion? Man City got 115 charges against them, all pushed under the carpet. And then there's Everton and Forest, and even Wolves now being thrown under the bus. There's got to be a balance, and I can see now maybe why Everton now are, okay, you've got to stick within the rules. The rules are there. FFP's there, we know. I think it's going to be one of the most boring transfer windows ever. Probably nothing's really happening, is it? There's no standout. Even Spurs are getting players on loan. They've signed Vernon on a loan. I think that's the way it's going now. But then it's a bit insulting. And when you do read reports saying Man United want to sign another player for 50 plus million, Chelsea want to sign another striker at 200 million, and then all this money floating around. And then we can't, little old Forest can't go out and buy a player for, say, 10 million because we've got to stick within the rules. Surely every team should stick to the rules. It is sickening. Chelsea how much have Chelsea spent in 2 seasons? Up to $1 billion, and this kind of money. And look, we all know this FFP is out there to stop, if you want to class the smaller teams, get into the top. We all know that.
At Newcastle.
Do you know what? I feel sorry for Newcastle in a way because they are the richest club on the planet. But yet, that's all he hears. Eddie Howe's got his hands tied. I've heard reports how they may have to sell Isaac to balance the books. I mean, really?
Top player.
Yeah, he's linked with Liverpool and Chelsea. Oh, they're surprised. He's linked with a top 6 club. Bit of a coincidence, that, and that's okay. They can go on signing players, but you can just see they just want that gap to build. And there was a pundit, either said on TalkSport or on a panel the other day, and he said owners should just go and spend what they want, and then if it's their own money, it's their money. They shouldn't be held to a certain account, because at the end of the day, it's their money. At the end of the day, if they want to just bankrupt themselves, so be it. If Marinakis wants to go and spend 500 million, it's his money. I know there's FFP in place, but what I'm trying to say is they hated it when we signed all them players last summer. The media hated it, the pundits hated it, the other teams hated it. Oh, Forest signing 30 players, spend out 235 million. Well, how much money you spending? But then they have the nerve then to say on these panels to say, oh, Chelsea need to spend another 200 million. Man United need to spend more. That's fine. that's okay. But Forest can't. And this is what I'm saying, Ben. There's just no... The way they put it across is so obvious that they just want that gap. And they want that Super League. They want that Super League to happen. And it's just causing that gap. And for me, I don't think... If we do get through this and no points deduction, like Dylan just said, we can move on, maybe target... I think we target 2 to 3 players, a winger, a goalkeeper, and a striker. We will balance the books in a sense. We'll probably get rid of a few, trying to get some money in. But yeah, Ben, it's just, for me, it's insulting. Where, like I said, Chelsea can just go and spend what they want. And Pochettino said he wants more players. It's just ridiculous. Sorry, I hate the whole corruption in football at the moment.
We all fully understand. We fully understand. Let's go for the comment. This one from Scott F. I think it's very close. Lack of signs gives us a clue. Forwards have fully confident, and some of the new players would have been signed. Penalties says, "What time is the decision due to announcement tomorrow?" Wes, do you know what time it is, Jay? Do you know?
No, you'll probably hear it around the lunchtime, early afternoon sort of time. I would have thought.
So watch out on social media, people. Like I said, I ain't got a clue what time it's on. So, last thing about the FFP, and people in the chat get involved. What's about you, Jay? Do you think Forest would do it? Yes or no?
It's really tough, but I think that I can't answer it. I genuinely can't answer it because I don't want to again feed the what people want me to feed in terms of giving an answer. But what I will say is as well, the things you've got to take into consideration are things like amortization. Like when you buy a football player, you don't just spend £30 million. It doesn't just get transferred from your account. It's important to know that amortization essentially means the total transfer fee divided by the amount of years in that player's contract. That's how it is shown on your books.
I think that's why Chelsea's got away.
Yeah, well, yeah, that because Chelsea sign players on 8-year contracts, which means if you're spending £90 million on a player, well, then you're spending just over 10 million a year, for a £90 million player over 8 years. So
he won't stay at that club for 8 years, will he, Jay? They're not like Mudryk is not going to stay at Chelsea for 8 to 9 years.
No,
let's face it.
Ben looks like he's got some breaking news.
Right, I don't know if people know. I've just seen on Twitter, David Osteen. I've just said Everton Nottingham Forest are expected to be informed on Monday that be found in breach of Premier League profit and status rules in the 3-year cycle to June 2023. Both have prepared mitigation and will launch robust defence. And that's come from David Osteen on Twitter. So,
well, there's your answer then. I don't need to say anything more.
So that's answer. That's our answer.
What did I say to you? Someone will break it tonight and someone will know straight away.
Wow. So it looks like we have. Voice fans, what do you think in the comment section?
Do you know what?
I was about to close it before someone told me about it.
Wow.
Do you know what's going to get me now is over this is now everyone's going to start laying into the owner.
Yeah.
Which I don't.
Let's focus on it because, like I said, I've just got seen this. Please don't let it happen. But I think thank you, Andrew, for the £2. I much appreciate for doing that as well. People in the chat, after what I just said, like I said, if you want to see it, get it on Twitter as well. Jay, response to that?
I mean, partly shocked, but also partly not. As I say, I didn't want to give an answer because I just don't know. And I suppose there is your answer, essentially, one of the most reliable journalists. So now all you've got to do is sit back and enjoy the ride. There's still a big process to come. Forest is still going to launch their defence, which we already knew. They've got one of the best sports lawyers who worked with Harry Toffolo during his betting issues. So Nick DeMarco will be fighting the case. They're going to try and backdate the Johnson sale. I mean, it's all well and good them saying that that Forest are in breach, but we have to launch our defence. It isn't a one-party thing. It's going to be a court battle now. So, buckle up. Let's go.
Dylan, what's your response on that, Dylan?
It is what it is. I just do you know what?
You said it as well, Dylan. You did say it. Someone is going to say it.
I did say because this was what it went too quiet, and I knew someone would break it tonight or tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? Because someone would come out and say, "Oh, we'll find out." Do you know what I mean? There's always the case. But please, anybody on here, I just hope you don't lay into the owner for it, because you've got to look at it this way. All right, if we broke it, we broke it. We'll do whatever we've got to do. Yeah, but look at teams that have come up from the Championship and done nothing, spent hardly anything. We'd have been on his back. Oh, we're not spending, we're not doing this. Then we spent all this money, bought all these players, and we were like, oh, look at us. Do you know what I mean? We're buying all this. We can't have it both ways. Do you know what I mean? We've got an owner that has backed us to the hilt, probably gone over. Well, we have gone over by the look of it. Do you know what I mean? Take it on the chin, find out what we've got to do, get on with it.
Can I just say as well? I just want to say, like, I think that, you know, if the breach does happen and you get a points deduction, because Everton are going to get another one now, so there's going to be a couple of teams down there that are fighting. And in all honesty, if it's a 6-point deduction, we're quite fortunate because we've been picking up some good results, and it's not impossible to get out of that position. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. But that's all, again, that's all possibilities that aren't even a real thing at the moment. But I just, it's such a shock, isn't it? Like, you never experienced this kind of thing. You think, but at the end of the day, this is football, isn't it? This is, you know, people wanting more players, and you know, there's obviously been a breach somewhere. So that's a shame.
I think the last,
how much of a breach is it? Is it £1? Is it?
Well, this is it, and this is another thing as well. You should mention, if you do breach it just over, then it's just 6 points. And I know I'm saying just 6 points. That 6 points is massive, and it would have got us relegated last season if we'd got 6 points taken off us. But
Dylan, I mean, dude, how many points is it? 6 points, isn't it?
It will probably, because of how fine the margins are, what we'd assume how fine the margins are, it should be a 6-point deduction if there was going to be any points deducted.
So, Mark, there's your answer. It is 6 points on that.
Is it 6 points for going over, and then is it 1 point for every £5 million after?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case. Yeah.
So we don't know. Do you know what I mean? But
I'm telling you one thing, that if it does come to 6 points, and they being wherever that comes into play, we need to go. Them bottom 3 clubs, we need to go to their place and win.
Yes,
we got to take 9 points.
Yeah, but look,
at least
you would take now. You would like Nuno. Nuno's going to go with the players. The club's going to say to the players, right? Do you know what I mean? Do what you've got to do.
Look what it did to Everton, though. When Everton got their deduction, it brought them together. I know they haven't been great lately, but it brought them together. They went on like a run of, what was it, 6-7 games unbeaten, won 5 in a row, whatever it was. It can bring you together. I'm not saying I'm only trying to bring a positive out of it. But when do they take the points off us? Do they do it this season? Do we start next season on minus
April? No, it has. What I'm led to believe, I don't know if Jay could tell me. Probably Jay knows a bit more than me. But what I'm led to believe is, like last season, when we heard about Everton having breached the financial fair play, everyone was like, Everton's going to get relegated. But then the Premier League didn't do it till the season after, which then caused Leicester, Southampton, and Leeds, who got relegated, to have court battles to say, hold on a minute, they should have been relegated.
Yeah.
So what I've been told now is basically what will happen is everything has to be sorted by April, so the punishment can be put in place for this season. So you're not going to get court battles, because say if we get 10 points, they did what they did to Everton last year, blah, 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 then 10 points could relegate us, but we don't get it put till next season. Then you're going to have, I'm just going to chuck teams out there, I'm not going to say Luton, Burnley, whoever at the bottom, people at the bottom who get relegated. Yes, Sheffield. It's just going to keep rolling on, because every year you're going to get someone get done. Do you know what I mean? And there's going to be court battles and court battles and court battles. Well, am I right there to think that, Jay?
Yeah. I think that's the fast track system. So the fast track system was put in place to get the accounts submitted by 31st of December and basically just speed up the process, because the Premier League wants to punish someone. They want to set a precedent now that teams can't just abuse us. We are the Premier League. Teams can't just abuse us and our rules. Our rules are final. So they're going to punish people. And, you know, they're going to want to punish Everton in particular, they really want to punish Everton because they've breached the rules before, and now they're going to want to do the same to Forest. And that's just the unfortunate side of it. But yeah, the Premier League wants to make a statement, and I think that by punishing those two sides, it'll do that. But that bottom half, if there is a points deduction again, it is going to be incredibly competitive. But it's so complicated. FFP doesn't create a level playing field. It actually makes the gap between the top and the bottom wider. And also, the only reason that FFP exists is to stop the top teams going to a Super League, because it's saying you can spend as much as you want, but the teams below you can't. So it doesn't create a level playing field. And FIFA admit that as well. It's crazy.
So there's another thing as well. Is we've said that the accounts that Forest has submitted was 2 years in the Championship, which is I'm led to believe is £13 million each year of a loss. Yeah. Then the Premier League one, the last year, the third year that we've submitted is £30 million, £61 million, roughly around that. Yeah. So how is that fair on us to be put in the same category as, say, Everton, because Everton's been in the Premier League forever. Do you know what I mean? So they've got £90 million. If we say it's £30 million a year, they've got £90 million over 3 years to lose, where we've got 61. How is that fair? And then you're coming up from the Championship. What do the Premier League want you to do? Oh, you've come up from the Championship. You still got to. Do you know what I mean? How can you progress up that league?
Yeah,
if you can't
I know exactly. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
There should be something put in place to say, okay, well, them teams that have come up from the Championship, they should have a bit more leeway to say, right, we'll give you an extra 10 million, or we'll give you something because you've had to do it that way. It's not fair. Do you get what I mean?
Bloody hell, people.
Look at United now, right? How much they spend on Mason Mount? How much they spent on Anthony? How much they spent on Hoyland? It's ridiculous. And I agree with Jay and Dylan. It's just to create that gap. And I'm telling you one thing. It's just been mass. I think all the other teams should gang up on teams like Chelsea and City and really go hard on them. And why are they being let off this? Man City, what we know of, 115 cases against them. And what's happening there? Nothing. And they just go on and on. And don't get me wrong, they're a class side, right? But they just 115 cases, what we know of, just allowed to carry on and just do what they want. And then there's us then, just, Dill's just said it, we come up and we can't do nothing. Well, we got to do like a Sheffield United and just stick with the Championship squad. It's just ridiculous.
Is it? How many points is it to be if you've gone over 6 points?
Yeah.
Oops, technically, right? And Man City, how many charges have they had?
115. 115 of all we know of.
150.
And counting. 115. 115.
So I've worked it out. If say you get 6 points and they've got 115 shots, they should be deducted 690 points.
Well, that's why they would go down the leagues. That's why there was rumours they were going to go down to League Two or whatever.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. They set precedent with Everton now. They gave Everton the 10 points. So they gave Everton the 6 points for going over. And obviously, they've given them another 4 points for every 5 million they've gone over. Am I right to say that? So if you're going to set that precedent on Everton, so you've got another team, all right, so what, the Man City, the biggest, do you know what I mean, best club in the world. But they can't say to poor old Everton, oh, I'm sorry, but we're going to take 10 points off you because you broke the rules. Man City will probably have us tied up in court for the next 15 years. We'll take the points off them eventually. Or I just don't know.
Look at Newcastle. Look at Newcastle. Like I said, richest club in the world. They can't spend a dime. That's mad. We all know if Newcastle wanted to, they could go out and buy Mbappe tomorrow. If they were just given loose reins and say go and spend what you want, they could go and throw money on Mbappe and these players. And they were talking about on TalkSport in the week. They can't. It's mad to say the richest club in the world cannot spend a dime. They got to sell the spine of their team of someone like Isaac or Bruno. It's madness because as we know, the top six, who maybe Newcastle are a part of at the moment, don't want to be touched. It just really winds me up. And I'll tell you one thing, it'd be insulting now if we see the likes of Chelsea, United, City or Liverpool go and spend now towards the end of this window on more money again. It's insulting.
Do you know what as well? The only benefit to having rich owners really in the Premier League, with FFP rules, for the most part, is the fact you're allowed to lose more, because actually there's a base allowance on what you can lose. You can lose, so Premier League clubs can lose 15 million over 3 years as a base amount, and then you can lose 5 million a year. But then you have something called secured funding, which is where an owner basically allots shares. So if you've seen Marinakis, he will have wiped the debt or something, and he would have sold shares. That's called secure funding. So every year he has to provide £30 million worth of share allotments in order to be allowed to lose the Premier League level of £35 million a year, if you know what I'm saying. And that's how the £35 million losses come about. So if you have rich owners, all you can do really for us is just lose a little bit more. And that's the reality of it. And because we've come up from the Championship after having 2 seasons there, 26 million for the 2 years in the Championship, and then with secured funding. So, Marinakis is investing a lot of money just to allow us to lose more. How crazy is that? Do you not think that's crazy? He's got to spend £30 million to be allowed to lose a further, £30 million. It's just bonkers. The FFP, it does need a reform, to be honest. But at the same time, cards you dealt.
We can talk about the FFP. Sorry, WJ. Are you a fan of FFP? People in the chat, are you a fan of FFP? Because I am in a little bit, but people in the chat, are you a fan of FFP? I'm not, but Jay, are you a fan of it?
I mean, in some ways, I'm not denying it. It's not a bad thing in some ways, because football shouldn't just be a case of if you have the richest owner, then you win everything, because that is rubbish. That's just not what I want football to be. Football's never been about money, or it should never have been about money. It was a working man's game, it's a working man's game. And it got took over by business people.
Roman Abramovich changed the dynamic of football.
Yeah, Roman Abramovich just buying everyone. And look, it's great if you're a fan of that team, but FFP, it doesn't create fairness across the board. That's my concern, because there is teams like City who have got all these breaches, and it's, well, we don't know when they're going to, conclude the investigation, or, and it doesn't create a level playing field. FIFA don't, they literally say, this isn't to create a level playing field. This is just, it does work in some ways, but I just think that there is reform needed in regard to how the top 6 are treated with FFP, because, as you say, teams like United just seem to spend ridiculous amounts of money. And I think wage caps should be introduced as well, by the way. I think there should be a wage cap for all Premier League clubs, because Man City spend £400 million a year on wages. Wages. That is crazy. There should be a wage cap. And Forest spend a lot on wages also. But, that's another thing we should point out. In terms of revenue, we spend a hell of a lot more on wages than we earn, and that's a problem. So
I don't know what, going forward, right? This is what worries me about how we may be held back or can't progress. Because if now this is a shot in the arm for the club, if we stay up this season, next season in the summer, we may have to sell like a Gibbs White or a Murillo to balance the books. And how are we going to progress? We got to sell our best players to suit the hierarchy of the FFP people. But then we got to be held back then, because we got to sell a better player to suit. Oh, we can sell Gibbs White to Spurs. We can sell Murillo to Man City. That's fine. Strengthen them. They can spend the money on our players. What if Spurs come in with, I heard Spurs are touting Gibbs White. What if they come in with 70 million? Oh, they can sign in for 70 million. We've made 70 million. Yeah, we've balanced our books now, but we can only spend X amount of that. But they can buy our best. Oh, I agree with you, Jay. It's not fair.
Well, what would happen if Man United got a 10-point deduction? Well, you'd laugh it off, wouldn't you? Because you'd say, 10 points is just a pretty annual, well, maybe not for Man United at the moment, but a typical Man United side from the past, 10 points would be just a normal month, in terms of, that's just the minimum of what we want to be achieving over 2 or 3 games, 4 or 5 games. So, look, at the end of the day, it doesn't affect the top 6 because you can get the deduction and it doesn't mean anything. Oh, a little bit less TV revenue. Who cares?
But as well, like you'd say, Jay, with the top 6, they're trying to keep them sweet because they don't want this Super League.
Yeah, they don't want to break away.
I'm not being funny. If they go and charge Man City now and give them 40-point deduction, yeah, Man City are then going to turn around and go, hold on a minute. No, we're not taking that. We're in favour of the Super League. Do you know what I mean? Oh, then Arsenal, Liverpool, all that'll start looking, go, oh shit, we're not safe. Oh, do you know what? People have been in the Super League going, come over here. We won't do that to you. Then they're going to go, oh yeah, we might as well just go over there. We're going to get more money and everything like that. And the Premier League's going to be going, oh, we can't lose them because if we lose them, we lose the marketing rights and everything for the Premier League. And what we're going to do, because we can't have a Brighton or a Brentford or a Forest or a Wolves who are top of the league and in the top 6. Do you know what I mean?
That's why I'm glad. That's why I'm glad Villa are up there. I'm glad Villa are up there to disturb that little click. You know, I'm glad Villa are pushing the rest of them. And like you said, Dill, the likes of Brighton as well. You know, breathing down their necks. It's good. It's disturbing the click of the 6. You know, and the top 6. When do we ever hear them have to sell one of their prize assets to balance the books? You know, or United may have to sell.
The only one we've got is Newcastle at the minute.
Exactly.
And I think that's to do with because they're owned by Saudi.
And the richest club in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, they're owned by Saudi and they've gone, oh, hold on a minute. 2 years ago, these were about to get relegated. These have yo-yoed a few years through Championship and Premier League. Oh, we can't have these upsetting the apple cart. As much as I love the Premier League, I'm going to go on a rant now.
Hit the like button. You want to see Dylan's rant. Hit the like button. Hit it.
As much as I like the Premier League, I do love. I like the spectacle of it because you turn on the tele, Sky Sports News, Premier League. Do you know what I mean? You turn on the Premier League. Everything's Premier League. That's what I like about it. But let's face it, the Premier League is split into 3, maybe 2, 3 leagues in one league. Top 6, top 10. Then the bottom. Do you know what I mean? And it's like eventually what's going to happen is teams like us, like an Everton, like who else comes up, people are going to come up from the Championship and go, oh yeah, we're in the Premier League, we're going to get all this money, but what's the point? We can't spend it. We can't go out and spend 30 million on this player and 40 million on that player to help us survive in the league because we're just going to get in trouble for it.
Right. Look, people, like I said, there's 110 people in. If you hit like button, if you don't know what we're talking about, we just got while we're live. David Osteen has put, I said, Everton and Forest are expected to be informed Monday that has been informed in breach of Premier League penalty and stability rules for the 3-year circle to June 2023. Both are prepared mitigation and will launch robust defence. So we were talking about, like I said, players are sailing, and we're mixing with players like Mangala leaving Nottingham Forest as well. Like I said, just announced the FFP, but players will be leaving, and Mangala seems like he'll be the first one from that.
Yeah, look, I'm going to give my perspective that I've had since the start. Even though at first I had quite a reactionary response to it because obviously I think he's one of our best players. If not, he's been the most consistent player for us this season. Whether Nuno doesn't fancy him or Mangala doesn't fancy Nuno, I don't know. But if we can get a deal together where we can sell Mangala this window, because I won't accept any sort of loan deal. I don't want a loan deal unless there is a mandatory buy clause in it. That's not what this should be about. At the end of the day, you're going to be losing a very good player. And Mangala, he's someone that holds the ball so well, but he's been playing in that number 6 role. One, that's not his natural role, I don't think. I'd like him to have played further forward, but he did great in the number 6. But we just bought in £30 million worth of, of Ivorian midfielder, Ibrahim Sangare. And we're not playing, Steve Cooper didn't play him as a number 6. That's problematic. You've got a player like Mangala, who all the respect for doing as well as he has done for Forest, he's been brilliant. And if he was to leave, no hard feelings at all, and I wish him all the best. But I want money from that. I want good money, £25 million plus. I want good profit on that. It's going to go towards your next few signings. But also it gives Sangare a chance to shine in the role that we actually bought him for. We've got plenty of, depth in the midfield, I feel. I'm not worried about losing him too much. And it gives Sangare a real opportunity to shine because, before it exposed how, not unfit, because he's not unfit, but he's not suited to play in that role that is more intense as a number 8. So sell Mangala if he wants to go. I'm not someone who likes to keep players around if they're not keen on staying. Let's make the deal that works for everyone. He goes, we get some good money, buy some players, and everyone, and Sangare gets his chance to shine. That's what I want to see. But at the same time, ideally, Mangala doesn't go. But at the end of the day, football money talks. That's above anything we can say tonight.
What's your thoughts, Steve, on it? Like I said, since Nuno's come in, he's not against him, has he, Mangala? If I can remember, like
Bournemouth. Yes, he played against Bournemouth, didn't he? Yeah, I think he did. I think he started and he finished the game.
No, he come off. He come off second half, didn't he?
No, I can't remember. Can someone look that up?
He come off second half.
Newcastle away, he didn't play.
He didn't play. Bournemouth
because the man
come off against
Sangare and Yates, wasn't it? And then United home, he didn't play. Blackpool, he's on the bench. So I think Bournemouth would be the only game. He may have been hooked off. I'm not sure about it. I thought he played the 90. No, and maybe if someone could look that up, if he did play the full 90, maybe that was Nuno's test of him, maybe to see what he thought of him, to see the full 90 and probably didn't like what he saw. I don't know. Someone look that up.
45 minutes, came off at half time.
Yeah, he came at half time, didn't he?
Of course, because the whole body thing disrupted the.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
The people in the comments telling me he come off for didn't he?
Right. Okay. Yeah. So let's read between the lines here. If he's been hooked off half time, words have been had then possibly. No player likes to be hooked off at half time. That's quite for a professional footballer. Unless you're injured. For tactical reasons, you don't want to be brought off half time. So that could have been words being said there, and he hasn't recovered since. For me, Mangala is a steady, safe player. Maybe he's not quick enough going forward for Nuno.
Is he better than Ryan Yates?
Technically, yes. Yates obviously puts his foot in more. Mangala is technically better on the ball. But like we've said multiple times on this show, Ben, is that there's no coincidence that every manager has played Yates. He goes through from very beginning till now. We always thought, no, Yates is going to lose his spot, and Yates always gets back in. So, obviously,
But Mangala's a better midfielder than Ryan Yates. I just want to say.
Technically, Jay, 100%.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, I think, let's look for Mangala's assists. I know he wasn't based on goals. But for Mangala, something he's a very safe player. I wouldn't say he's a player who can carve a defence open. He doesn't pick through balls or pings it across the pitch. He's just a safe, hold the ball up, play it off. He's just a steady player. For me, I agree with you, Jay. If he does move on, all the best to him. He clearly doesn't want to be there. And if we get good, I wouldn't be happy with a loan. I'd rather money for him. But my only worry is how far do Ivory Coast go in the AFCON? Because if we get rid of Mangala now, we do look a little bit more lightweight in midfield without Sangare there. So how quick does this deal get pushed through, and how long does Sangare stay in Africa? Because there's no youngster, no one coming through. We're going left with Yates, Dalilo, Dominguez. Am I forgetting someone? In midfield.
We've got like that's the only games we've got. Against Blackpool, we had Dominguez went there, didn't he? I think he did.
Dominguez played a bit more
like on the wing.
When who was it? Was it Yates went off, didn't it? Against Blackpool, and then we put Dominguez in that role. Was it Dominguez?
Oh yeah, he went more central then. Yeah,
he went more central.
Dominguez started more out and tucked in, didn't he? Like a false winger.
Mangala's football will suit Italy. Like Mangala's football, just like Freuler suited It suits Italy more because Mangala's all about ball retention. He's all about keeping possession. That's what they want in Italy. In the Premier League, it's a little bit more fast flowing, and it's
That's why Dominguez.
You can
that's why
afford
Nuno. Go on, Jay.
Yeah, I was just going to say you can kind of afford to not have that kind of midfielder in a way. I don't know how to word it properly, but Forest can afford to not have Orel Mangala in that side. But I think it would be a loss. But then again, money. You kind of have to take it at times.
I think that's why Nuno has picked Dominguez over him because Nuno's on the Dominguez on the front foot. He plays a high press and he plays on the front foot. A bit more dynamic than Mangala. I think that's why Nuno's because Dominguez fell out of favour with Cooper, didn't he? And then Nuno brought him straight back in. So I think one was going to bite the bullet. I think Mangala has been chosen by Nuno. I think to move on.
Before we get to this thoughts, I want to say thank you, Andrew, for being a member to my channel for 7 months. Appreciate that. And another one, Sean Stone, member for 21 months. Absolutely legend, Sean, for being a member to my channel. Make sure, like I said, we've been talking about FFP a lot. If you want, please go and see it. Jay had an interview with Kieran Maguire. The link is in the description. So after this, go and watch it. But listen, people, if you don't know, Forest screwed.
There is an update though. In the article, I was just having a little read of it.
Go on, Jay, talk about it.
David Ornstein says that there's either going to be a points deduction or a heavy fine. So, depending on how severe the breaches are, there is a possibility it could just be a fine. So, I mean, I'm not saying that will be the case, but there could be a fine. And
I'll take the fine. I'll take the fine.
Well, you take the fine any day.
I thought in your, the interview you did with Kieran, I thought he said that they stopped doing the fines because it was easy for the big boys to just go, I'll break it, but we'll get £20 million fine. Yeah, whatever. But
again, but then it depends on the severity because, you wouldn't see Liverpool or etc. probably just about breaking it. Do you know what I mean? I think this is very severe. Because Chelsea have already been fined for an FFP breach last season. They paid something like £10 million, but it was something FFP related that led to the fine. So I think it just depends on that severity. If it isn't that severe, and David Ornstein's a reliable source, if you can pay a fine, then that's the ideal, isn't it? But it's good to know that at least there is another kind of channel that it could potentially take.
So is that something that David Ornstein just brought up?
That's something that he put in his article. So it could be a points deduction or a fine.
People in the chat, what would you prefer? A points deduction or a fine? I prefer the fine. Give us a fine. I'll be happy with that. Then before you went to toilet, we were talking about regarding Mangala. Like I said, we've got to sell players now. What's your thoughts on him? Loan or just sell him?
You can't send him out on loan. What's the point? You just keep him, don't you? What's that benefiting anyone? That's not benefiting business.
He wants to go. He wants to go.
Yeah, but if he wants to go, and I think we paid the fee. Was it a fee around 15 million for him? Something like that.
About 12. It was about 12. That's including add-ons.
So if you get 25 million for him, because he's still, don't forget, he's a Belgian international. Do you know what I mean? If you can get some good money for him, and you make a £10 million profit, but this is the thing: if he wants to go, because I can't imagine Forest putting him up for sale just on a whim, just to say, do you know what I mean? Oh, we'll just put him up. You would tend to think that the player has gone in and said, "Look, I want to go." Do you know what I mean? Could we see now in the next? How long's left of the transfer window? 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Could we now start seeing some of the bigger players who we got, start? Oh, I want to leave now because we don't know the uncertainty of the club. Do you know what I mean? Is it going to get a points deduction? Is it going to get a fine? Is it going to get relegated? Stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Oh shit! Look, I'm on a 4-year contract here. They go down. I've got to go play championship football if I don't get a good deal. Do you know what I mean? So I think this article, yes, we won't find out what it is probably till April until the lawyers have done what they need to do. But I think now, with the next couple of weeks, with the I think this is where we'll start to see where players will start getting itchy and going, I don't want to be around here now because I don't know if I'm playing in the Premier League. So, but for like the question you asked me for Mangala, if he wants to go, as long as we make a good profit on him, and we're, do you know what I mean? It's all money in the bank, isn't it?
People, if you do massive favor, please do hit the like button as well. 112 people are in. We meant to be like a different subject, but as you know, the FFP just has come in. So it took most of the show. Before last sports party, like I said, we're going to get into Nuno. Steve, do you think Nuno will get a bit frustrated about it now with the FFP? Because like I said, he's going to be restricted with players leaving now and hard for players to come in.
Yeah, but remember what he said in his interview. He likes a small squad.
Yeah.
So if anything, he wants to trim the fat. So it's not like we've got a small squad and he wants to extend it. We've got a fat squad. There's a lot of fat that he's trimming. And for him, if he wants the 22 to 23 man squad, I mean, look how many players we bring him back on loan.
Yeah.
Are we bringing, are the club playing this where putting two together, they bring these players back to ship them on for money? You know what I mean? Even if we get 2 million, say like the John Panzo, say we get £2 million for him. If we get £5 million for Scott McKenna, if we get something for the Korean Huang, is it? If we get something for, who else has come back? Alex Mighton. If we get up to £1 million for him for a League One or a Championship, whatever. It's just maybe they are bringing him back. I can't imagine Nuno. Maybe he is. Maybe he is looking at these players. We don't know. It could be many reasons why they're bringing him back from their loan spells. But that's one thing I would say, Ben. If anything, he wants a smaller squad. So yeah, he might be frustrated. But then if we manage to sign 2 players and get one in on loan, and we don't need to, we don't need another crazy window anyway. We don't need 12 to 15 players. Please don't let it be chaos again.
That would cheese if we did that.
That would, yeah. We just sign, like I said in the beginning, a keeper, a winger, and a striker. I'd be happy. And if that means shipping on, like, remember one thing though, we may sell one of our keepers to get a bit of money for them. We're still another 2 weeks, a long time in the transfer window. A lot can happen. But one thing I was come back to us in the beginning is that Nuno wants a small squad, so maybe yes, he'd be frustrated with this all going on in the background. But one thing I would say is he may do what Dyche did with Everton and just bring the players together and say, look, ignore the back noise. Let's concentrate on the pitch. Get the points on the board. So if they do nail us in April, if they take 6 points off us, it won't matter. It won't affect us. Go and beat these. Like when we go to the bottom 3 clubs, go and win. Take the 9 points. So if we do get deducted 6 points, it's just a knock-off. We've gained 3 points then, haven't we? We just need, like Everton did, they hit the ground running, they got the points on the board, and yes, okay, Everton maybe hit again, but look how much points they've gained already. That's how poor them 3 teams are at the bottom. Any other, like if this was this time last season, I'd be really panicking. But this, I know sounds awful to say, but the bottom 3 teams are awful, and to me, they are going down. Luton will put a fight up, but I think we are just fortunate, and I think even if we're 6 points taken off, we will scrape relegation this year, purely because even if they take 6 off us, we'll still be ahead of them bottom 3 teams because they are that bad.
Forest turned down a bid for Turkey of how much was it for Mangala? 25 mil? How much was it? 22 mil? I think it was.
Does anyone know? I don't know.
It was. They made a bid. It was rejected. Who did it? Who said
it? It was Galatasaray that made the bid, but I don't know how much it was. 22
million. I'm sure it's 22 million euros.
Yeah, Galatasaray. Yeah.
Sure it was.
I mean, that's what, like 17 million quid. It's like
million.
no way.
Have we seen it's come up again? Another play Batshuayi, is it? We linked with him again.
Rangers. He's going to.
All right. Every window now. He's linked with us now. It's getting a bit tedious now.
Well, we're nearly on an hour mark. And I said the hour mark, and that's what we've talked about the FFP. But I just want to round it up, people. It's been a great show, people. If you do massive favor, please do hit the like button as well. It's massive help from me. Let's round it up. We've got to talk about it. Like I said, if you have not announced, please go on Twitter. Austin has confirmed Forest are going to be in trouble with Forest and Everton are going to be in big trouble and getting 6 points deducted. But let's round it up. Dylan, let's round up. Right, what's your feelings on it?
Well, on the FFP,
yeah, round it up.
Whatever, mate. We just got to pull us up. So it is. We can't. I've had my little rant. Oh, it's not fair. It's not this. It's not that. But look at it this way. Look at these other ways, right? We could have come up and gone, oh, no, we're not going to spend loads of money because we want FFP, which we tried. You know what I mean? We tried to do, but Marinaki stood on that council house after promotion and said, I'm going to go for it. Now, I think it was TalkSport, Simon Jordan. He turned around and said, after Marinakis made that, oh, that's a bold statement. Oh, I don't think his mouth can cash the checks. Then later on, I heard Simon Jordan turn around and go, well, Forest fans can't complain because your owner stood there and said he was going to do what he did, and he did it. Do you know what I mean? So we've all sat there and we've enjoyed it. All these players coming in, different players. Yeah, some of them will be good, some of them not, whatever. But we've enjoyed it. So if that's the case, we've gone over. I'm not the money man. It's not my thing. But at the end of the day, I support the team. I support the club. Whatever happens, I'll still go. I'll still watch them. I'll still support them. It is what it is. But now what I'm worried about is, like you've got Mangala wanting to leave. You're going to have the clubs, these Napoli, Juventus go, oh, look at Forest now. Or could potentially get relegated. They're going to be desperate to sell him now. So we were going to offer 25, but we'll only offer this much. Do you know what I mean? Now you're going to see other teams coming in the next 2 weeks going, oh, you've got this player. Oh, do you know what I mean? We'll take him off your hands. Do you know what I mean? We'll give you so and so. No, but we want that. No, but you'll take that, won't you? Do you know what I mean? Are we going to see a flash sale? Are Forest going to try and, do you know what I mean? You're going to see a lot of people, a lot of agents coming out of the woodworks now, trying to get deals for players that we have at dirt cheap prices. Do you know what I mean? But now I would like to hope that, sorry I'm banging on, but I'd like to hope that Forest is sitting there now and there would be with a contingency plan go, right, if this don't go our way, we've got to build for possible trying to claw these points back and survive in the Premier League. But if the worst case scenario happens and we do go down, who in this squad's going to stay that's going to get us straight back up? Do you know what I mean? So I think it's going to be a lot of rebuilding now. I think the quality of signings that we would have signed, if David Olstein came out now and said, Forest have got nothing to worry about, they're going to be told tomorrow they're in the clear. Do you know what I mean? The hierarchy would have probably gone, right, we'll go for him, we'll look for that. Now I think it's going to be more strategic. The loan players that have supposedly come back, or what they're going to do with them, or they're looking at a couple of them going, do you know what I mean? Well, do you know what we'll do? We'll send him out on loan for 6 months because in the possible event that we do get relegated, he's the type of player that I want in the Championship. Do you know what I mean? So, but at the end of the day, it's done. Don't worry about it. Do you know what I mean? I'm still going to sleep at night. I'm still going to support the club. No, but we're not getting relegated to League One, are we?
No.
We're not going anywhere. Do you know what I mean? All we've got to do is win, just play the way we've been playing. And as much as I like to look at Nuno and think, well, he's, by the look of it, he's the type of manager to get us out of it, to try and progress us. Or worst case scenario is if we do go down. And I believe when he took the job, he was told. You know what I mean? I don't believe for 1 second he was told he's come into this blindness. He's probably heard, you know who his agent is. His agent's probably gone, for it. Marinaki's gone, yeah, we're trying to sort it, but he's probably gone, whatever, I'll sort it.
Steve, what's your last thoughts on it before we go?
Yeah, whatever will be, innit? Like I said, if we do get knocked 6 points, whenever that is, just go and win the games. You know, just use it as ammo, you know, and I personally think we don't have to worry about relegation this season myself, even though it's 6 points. I'm that confident at the moment. Might be overconfidence. I'm not. Of course, we're at risk of going down. Of course, we are. But let's just throw in curveball. If Emden get knocked more points, they'll get sucked in anyway, worse than us, more likely, because they have tailed off recently, so they're gonna have to pick up points soon. Just go to Brentford now Saturday, get the 3 points on the board. That's another 3 points. That if we do get 6 points taken off us, it will help. Just chip away at it and just get points on the board. And like we've been playing recently, bar the Blackpool first half, we more like we are going to pick the points up. Which if we do get knocked the points, we'll stay up. I got no worries, Ben, at the moment, as is now for going down this season. And I don't think on Maron Axe's watch we are going down. There's no way this team and this club is going down after all the work was put in through Cooper, through all that era, through him, the money. Yes, it'll be a learning curve for the club. I hope they learn lessons because the rules are there, even though they're not fair, but they still are rules. Just learn from it. Don't sell our best players just to suit others, but work within rules. But we have to progress as well, and it is a frustrating one, Ben, but it is what it is, and I'm sure we'll be fine anyway. Okay, we'll be laughed at. Oh, you deducted 6 points, blah blah blah, about all the neutrals, and we're bound to get henpecked and targeted, and but it is what it is, and
last but not least, Jay, the man with the who knows everything.
Look, my opinion on it is just nothing's happened yet. Chill your goddamn bones a little bit. You know what I mean? Just relax. have a beer. Have whatever you drink. Just chill out a little bit. I'm going to Germany in a couple of weeks, so I'll be enjoying life out there, not worrying about FFP.
Yes.
So, and I am actually staying at the place where we stayed, Ben.
Please don't worry. It was awful. It was awful. It was awful.
It was interesting. But yeah, just go and do something. Go for a run. Go for a walk. Go out with your family. Don't worry about FFP just yet because nothing's concrete. Just chill out and enjoy life. You know what I mean? Just relax. Nothing's
bigger things in the world to worry about.
We're not getting relegated. That's all that matters. We're not getting relegated.
Just go and enjoy your night out in Blackpool on a Wednesday night.
Yes, I'm going Blackpool, people, for the replay. But it's on TV as well, on ITV4. So, but I'll be there, as always. It's been a crazy, great show, people. Thank you, Jay, Dylan, and Steve, for this. Make sure, like I said, everyone go and watch Jay's interview with, what's his name again, Jay?
Kieran Maguire.
Kieran Maguire.
I'm getting him back on my podcast, by the way. He's in Asia at the moment.
Get back on
to see
he's in Asia.
Tweet. If you're on Twitter, go to Kieran and say, "Get Jay wants you back on." Because it was a fantastic interview. But if you haven't, go and watch it. I watched it before anyone else.
He did. He got secret access. He's in Asia at the moment. So once he's back, he's going to do a rundown of the accounts with him.
I got you guys. Go watch it, everyone.
Just a quick one. With us obviously being found out tomorrow and everything, will we know over the next few days and weeks what it actually is, or will we have to wait till April for them to go? Oh well, yeah, this is it. This is. Do you know what I mean? Will we find out? Can we find out anywhere?
I honestly don't know. I think Kieran will probably put out his stuff, so it'd be worth looking at Kieran's account, Kieran Maguire on Twitter. Have a look at it if you can. But yeah, I think it's just a case of us defending ourselves now. The rest comes a bit later.
Right, like I said, it's been a fantastic show. It came out of the blue. Dylan, Dylan kept saying, someone's going to say it. And what happens?
I've been saying it all day. I said on our group chat all day. I cannot understand if today's the day, someone will leak it. It's going to happen. And everyone was quiet. I knew it was going to happen.
So
I just wish I could predict the lottery numbers.
But yeah, it's been a great show. Like I said, make sure everyone goes watch Jay's chat with Kieran about FFP. I'll be back Tuesday to talk about Blackpool game with someone. But yeah, it's been a great show. Like I said,
with someone.
With someone. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, if you are rewatching this and if you want to know about FFP, are you worried about it? Don't be worried about it. Like Dylan said, go for walks with him or do what Jay does. Go for a little with who? Hashtag.
Sunbed.
Give over yourself.
Go for sunbed or have a haircut like Jay's been. But yeah, it's been a bless. Thank you everyone for watching this. Make sure you do hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and comment below people in the comment section about this FFP? Are you worried about it or anything else? I'll see you Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Talk about Blackpool and Forest. Peace and love. Don't get stressed. Up the Forest, people.